name is Cookie, and today we're going to be reviewing a total of 5 plushes that I currently own from the Super Nintendo World plush set. So basically how this is going to work is I'm going to analyze and review each of the 5 plushes, and then afterwards I'm going to give them a rank from 1 to 10. 1 being bad, 10 being amazing. The ranking for the plush is going to be determined by these 3 factors: design, quality, and overall accuracy to the original character the plush was made out. In this video, I'm also going to be discussing where you can find these plushes, the rarity of the plush, and how much it costs, both on websites and in stores. Now with that all being said, let's get to the first review.
Starting off today's review, we have the Lackey 2 Keychain plush. Now I know some of you may not consider this to be a part of the actual plush set since he is a keychain, but I picked him up and I figured why not review him. We are looking for the reviews, aren't we? Taking first glances at this plush, it's really high quality. Lackey 2 and his signature cloud are well stuffed, squishy and soft. The embroidery for both Lackey 2 and his cloud were done really well, especially on the shell, face, and eyes. As you can see, Lackey 2 is wearing his iconic goggles. They're made of felt, actually. On the inside of them, they added an extra detail. It's a piece of plastic to represent the glass. It wasn't needed, but it's really well appreciated. It just adds to the quality that this plush already had. Most Lackey 2s just have a piece of fabric that surrounds his eyes, but it's cool to see Nintendo take the extra mile when designing this guy.
After reviewing the Lackey 2 Keychain plush, I decided to give it a 6 out of 10. This is due to it being compared to the actual plushes, but hey, for a keychain, this is actually really well done. This is one of the better keychains that Super Nintendo World has, so if you are looking for one, I would highly recommend this one. But just when compared to plushes, the keychains don't hold up as well, but considering it's a keychain, that's a pretty good rank. In terms of rarity, Lackey 2, just like the rest of the keychains, aren't too rare. You could probably easily find one on eBay or at Super Nintendo World. Those don't tend to sell out as much as the actual plushes. In terms of price, in actual stores, this will run you about $13 American. But on eBay, I've seen 30 to around 45. That's how much this guy will run you. Pretty expensive for a keychain, but the plushes get more expensive, so. On to the next plush.
Next up, we're going to be taking a look at Blooper. Now I know this is one of the more unpopular guys in the set, but still, as simple as the Blooper's design well, Nintendo captured it perfectly and added a few extra details. As you can see, he has his tentacles, arms, and if you are looking for a Blooper plush because you're some sort of fan of Blooper, I don't know what you do, but if you are a fan of Blooper, this is probably the best one you can get design-wise. It looks closest to the plush. I even compared it to the World and Nintendo Blooper. It's just overall better. It's a better size, looks closer to the original character, it's higher quality, the embroidery is better, just all around better. Now this isn't no basic Blooper plush. There's actually a really unique detail that it has that it separates it from the rest. It actually uses a much shinier fabric, like the All-Star Metal Mario, to give it that slimy appeal, I guess, like Blooper has. And it's just a really good detail to have, and it makes this plush a lot more unique than if it were just an average plush. But yeah, this has been Blooper. It's a pretty good plush.
After looking at Blooper, I decided to give him a 7 out of 10. Now, Blooper perfectly is replicated here. This is the best Blooper plush. The shiny fabric really adds a lot to it. The only thing is, it's Blooper. It's nothing too special, but for what it is, this is actually a really good plush. So it is getting a 7 out of 10. The reason behind this ranking is because, well, other plushies are more detailed. When it comes to Blooper, he's a pretty simple design. There's nothing too crazy, nothing cluttering. But yeah, he's just a lot more simple than the other plushies, so there's a lot less to get around and critique. So that's the reason why he's getting a 7 out of 10. But still, really good plush. I do recommend him. But there are better plushes. When it comes down to the rarity of Blooper, there are less plushes in general of the Super Nintendo World set than there are keychains on websites and in stores. But for Blooper, he's pretty common in the Super Nintendo World in stores. There are quite a bit of them, so he's easier to find there. Online, there are still quite a few, just not as much as the keychains. So you won't have any trouble finding a Blooper, I wouldn't think. As for the price of Blooper, in stores he goes for around $20 American, so he is cheaper than the other plushes. But in terms of websites such as eBay, he can go for around $20 to $35. It just depends on the seller, but overall, he's pretty affordable in terms, and it's a good plush. On to the next.
Up next, we got the one and only jumping Goomba stomping man, Mario. Now this is where I really started to notice the insane amount of quality that was put into these plushes. Because once again, this is by far the best Mario plush you can get. Let's take a look at some of this guy's details. One of the first things I noticed when I picked up this plush for the first time was the variety of fabrics this plush uses. For example, his overalls. They made him out of a more smooth denim-like material, and it's an awesome touch. His hair, they gave it a more fluffy, fuzzy look, which way better represents his hair when compared to other Mario plushes, which just use fabric. And it's just, these details, even just switching up fabrics in areas, just makes this plush knock the others out of the park. It's really well designed. Mario's good looks go even beyond his new fabrics. I noticed that a lot of his smaller details are a lot more defined, like his mustache for example. You can clearly see the bumps a lot better than you could with any other Mario plush, and it just looks great, and this is for most of the plushes I saw there. His hands are also incredibly detailed, with each and every finger being way more defined than any Mario plush has ever been, especially with the thumb too. One interesting detail about this plush is Mario's shoes actually have soles in them. I thought this was a really good detail, because when compared to the All-Star Mario, I could tell how much better of a shape his foot was when compared to the All-Star. It actually looks more like a shoe, because the All-Star, it's just kind of a stuffed oval in a way. Truly, even the smallest details can make the biggest difference. The last thing I'll be mentioning is that this Mario's hat actually isn't stuffed. They kind of let the head fill it out, which, again, I thought makes it look a lot better, actually. Because, don't get me wrong, as good as the All-Star, Sine, all those plushes are, just sometimes the stuffed hats can give him a weird head shape. But now, since there's no stuffing in this Mario's hat, we eliminate the risk of that. Plus, it keeps a better shape of an actual hat than any other plush before it, so well done, Nintendo. Well done. It was a good change.
After looking at the Mario plush, I decided to give it a perfect 10 out of 10. There's just a great amount of detail. The plush is really good quality. It just scored on each and every category I listed. Great quality, a really good design with a lot of different fabrics, which is really cool. It's a good size, and overall I highly recommend this plush. This is one of, if not the best plushes in the set. In terms of Mario's rarity, it depends on where you're trying to get him. On websites such as eBay, he can be pretty common if you just search up Super Nintendo World Mario plush. There's quite a few sellers for him. But if you're trying to find him in stores, he will be more scarce. You know, he's an exclusive to Super Nintendo World. Of course, people are gonna end up buying him more. In stores in Super Nintendo World, Mario's put at the same price as the other plushies for $20 American. But on websites like eBay, it's a wide margin. You can have plushes for $45, but I've seen $80. So it's around the $45 to $60 range, most commonly to get Mario. But this is where it starts to get more pricey when you're trying to buy the plushes online.
Next up, you can't have Mario without Luigi. Now, there isn't too much to explain about Luigi that I didn't explain with Mario, but here are some slight differences between them. Of course, Luigi's slightly taller than Mario. He has a different mustache, and just like Mario, Luigi's mustache is a lot more defined than his previous plushes. Luigi's overalls are a lot darker than Mario's, and even quite a bit darker than the All-Star Luigi plush. But I'm actually pretty alright with that decision. It kind of helps differentiate Luigi from Mario a little bit more. But yeah, there's Luigi. All around amazing.
After inspecting Luigi, I decided to give him yet another 10 out of 10. It's the same as Mario, he's just really high quality, just great plushes all around. They're both incredible, and these are by far my favorite Mario and Luigi plushes out there. Just down to the hair, the shoes, it's just all around great. He's everywhere where Mario's good, Luigi's good too, so yeah, don't have too much to say, but Luigi's great. I also highly recommend it. In terms of Luigi's rarity, I'd say he's a little bit more rare than Mario, but you can still find him. Luigi's price is also $20 like the rest of the plushies, but on sites like eBay, it's also the same as Mario. I have seen it go up to prices like $80, but it's normally around the range of 35 to 60, 45, yeah.
Last but certainly not least, we have the Chef Toad plush. Now this is by far the most interesting plush in the set due to how unique it is. I mean, come on, not many people can say they have a Chef Toad plush lying around. As some of you could probably tell, this is a redesign of the other Toad plush with some differences added to it. But the main one being, he's dressed like a chef. And speaking of that, let's talk about it. Replacing the Toad's normal blue vest, he now wears a chef's coat, which, just like his hat, is made out of a more smooth material, which does make it a little less soft, but I don't mind. The coat has some smaller details that have been printed on, like his golden buttons. I've never been a fan of printed on details due to it normally looking kinda cheap and rushed, but in this case it's done so little and quite well that doesn't bother me. On top of the plush's head sits a chef hat, which, just like I said, is made out of the same smoother material, but it's significantly less stuffed, making it more soft, so well done. The Toad is also wearing a red chef scarf that's made out of felt. A big design choice that made this plush stand out a lot is that his mushroom head has actually been reversed in the colors, where normally it's the white is the main color with red dots, but they reversed it, and I do have to agree, it does make this plush stand out, and it makes it even more cooler than it already is. Let's move on to the actual shape of the body. Now, as you know, I've been talking quite positively about this plush, but there is one gripe. It's specifically with the body. I think the head looks great, but the body, I think it just looks a little bit strange. It's like Nintendo tried to find the middle ground between the All-Star plush and the sitting Toad plush. I could see what they were going for, but I personally believe this would have looked a lot better as just a normal standing plush. But that's the only gripe I have with this. The rest of it I think is quite amazing. I mean, even the fact that they decided to make a Toad plush in the first place, I think that's awesome. And that's why this is one of my favorites in the set.
After reviewing Chef Toad, I decided to give him a 7 out of 10. He mainly loses points to, I think his upper body does look a little bit weird with him being sitting and all. It doesn't look as natural, and it's my personal preference. I do believe that the standing Toad plushes do look better than the sitting. But don't get me wrong, I still highly recommend this plush due to how unique it is. I will give you that. It is a really cool concept. A Chef Toad plush? I've never seen that. That's why I decided to get this thing, actually. I just thought it was really cool. So I can look past the weird body, and still, I actually recommend this one the most due to how unique it is, and you will probably never see ones like this again. Chef Toad is definitely the most rare plush out of the ones I have reviewed today. It's a lot harder to find in stores than even Mario and Luigi, and I still find a tough time finding them in stores at Super Nintendo World. If you are able to find him at the Super Nintendo World stores, he costs the same as the rest of them, but it is unlikely that you will find him. You do need to be prepared for that. He is quite rare, I'd say, by now. But if you do find him, he's $20 American, same price as the rest of the plushes. But when we get into the website listings, such as eBay, oh my, it gets pretty pricey. All the listings I've seen with this guy's on him go from $70 all the way up to $90 American. And yeah, that is pretty expensive. At least we had a proper finale, eh? Most expensive. This was my review of these 5 Super Nintendo World Mario plushies. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day.